So here is my 77-year-old uncle moving his cows for the day. It's his morning exercise and it takes less than an hour.
First, in a dry winter, you're in danger of having a poor earth. So twice a week, you have to pour half a litre of water down your earth, so that when the cow touches the wire, the electricity can circulate back to earth. You have a bad earth if the earth is dry. Rested this kikuyu from the middle of March with the intention of bulking up reserved winter grazing and not bulking it up too much so that it falls over and loses quality, but having the right combination of bulk and of quality to see us through the winter with very little lick. So most of these cattle are in good productive condition at a condition score of 3. Some I'm a little bit concerned about. They're condition score 2.5. We're going to have to look after them for the rest of the winter with the rest of the herd. But the condition score average is close to 3, and that's where I want it to be. That's productive, it's not wasteful, and that condition score of 3 average shouldn't be made up of 2s and 4s. It should be made up consistently of cattle close to 3. I can finally grade the friction and make it a bit more so that it rules on. The other thing is that the cows will be going from a lick of about 400 grams a day, and they'll be taking in with that 400 grams about 80 grams of urea. The lick will change as they go onto the veld to up the urea to 120 grams, and then I'll see how they go on the veld for the rest of July and into August, and I might upgrade the lick further with more energy and more protein in a natural form, oil cake form, to boost the protein and energy while they're on the bad veld. Later in the winter, in about mid-August, they will go back to reserved kikuyu for the rest of the winter, which is scheduled to last till the 15th of October with no rain. If we have had no rain by the 15th of October, because we don't have any silage or hay or anything like that, what we'll do then is just scratch around on the stems that are left until it rains with an even higher grade lick. So far we haven't had to do that. We've had enough little bit of rain before the 15th of October to push out the spring flush. This is a fire break which has been burnt obviously every year, and the grass cover is very poor. I can walk in this grassland without putting my foot on a living thing, and it really needs more of the right kind of grazing for longer to come right. What we see here is a classic example of what we call pedestaling. The grass is on a pedestal because the soil has eroded away from around it because of too frequent burning and no mulch and not enough cover. Classical example of soil that won't be there in 200 years' time. The soil's not going to be there with this management in 200 years' time. Here is a classic example of severe erosion on a steep slope, meaning that if the management with too much fire and too little planned grazing continues, there will be no soil here in 200 years' time. Suffers from what we call pedestaling. All the grass is on pedestals, standing up, because the soil around it has washed away.
Okay.
Here's a classic example of pedestal grass with soil erosion around it, and the depth of erosion is that much. In 1,000 years, you will form about that much soil from the parent material, and then you will add water and life and organic matter to that to make up the rest of the soil. So what's happened next to this grass plant is that in the past years of management, you've lost 1,000 years of formed soil. We have enough old dairy pasture on this estate to use no hay or silage whatsoever. It's felt and rested pasture and lick that looks after them 12 months of the year. And that's how we do it. And we have, as a result, extremely low input costs. The lick costs us less than R2 per day per large livestock unit per year, most of which is crowded into the 4 months of winter. In fact, all of it's crowded into the 4 months of winter.
Here we are, leaving the cows to their grazing, having made tomorrow's camp, and heading back for breakfast.